Obviously, it's been a couple weeks since the commitment day, but
yeah,
how's that all settled down for you?
Well, it hasn't, because you're right into the next year's class. We're into 2019 and 2020 classes recruiting, and that never ends. But I thought it went pretty well. I thought we had a really solid first recruiting class, and I'm one of those in recruiting. I don't jump up and down. I enjoy signing day. I'm really happy about the guys that we get. I'm gonna reserve judgment till about 2 to 3 years from now and see how they pan out and make sure that they develop the right way that we expect them to.
Well, when you get those commitments, Dan, do you sit there on a board and fit guys into the puzzle?
You do maybe for long-term roster spots, but again, they haven't played. One of the trickier things with roster management right now is I haven't seen any of our guys out there on the field. I've watched some film and see some things they've done in the past, but really after spring, I think we'll have an idea what guys can do well, what they do poorly, what positions we're going to put them in, what they can handle, and how we're going to build the offense, defense, and special teams around them. And then that'll probably dictate a little bit more even going into the future how we handle recruiting.
Hey, Dan, the kids coming back, however you've evaluated them, either watching film, talking to them personally, do you feel like you've got the raw material for a very good SEC team to combine with the kids you're bringing in with the ones you got back?
I want to see after spring, a lot of that. I mean, I do. I think there's, I think we certainly have talent. We have guys that are buying in and working hard right now with our off-season program. But again, I mean, we haven't been on the field yet. I mean, you look at the quarterbacks. We have a bunch of quarterbacks that look the part, and on film they look like they can throw, but I haven't seen it in person. How they're making plays, how they're making reads. Our running backs, look physical on film, and they've had a good off-season. I want to see how they perform with the ball in their hands. So I think a lot of that we'll know more after spring, but we're certainly going to make them work hard.
What are your thoughts on Kadarius Toney? Is the versatile playmaker? Will he work at all with the quarterback in practice at all?
Yeah, I mean, well, I don't know how much we'll get into that in spring. That would be something, a package maybe for him in the fall. But within the base system, I want him learning how to be a wide receiver too. Goes back to reminds me as a guy that's a playmaker. You look at a Percy Harvin that we've had in the past when I was here. It played a lot of high school quarterback and did a lot of different things coming in. But got a obviously when he has the ball in his hand is extremely dynamic. But also has to learn how to be a very fundamentally sound football player, and that's going to be important for me too.
Dan, how often do you go into the spring and on the end of it say, I got a good idea of what's coming, what I might have this fall?
A lot. I don't know in year one if I'll be able to do that right now, but I think you have an idea of where you can be at. The issue comes a lot of times you're playing against yourself. So if you have a big day offensively, you either have a really good offense, or you might even have a suspect defense. So, until you go against somebody else, you never know how it's going to turn out. But you have a feel for what guys do and evaluating how they perform. And, I think the biggest thing going into spring is for our coaches is evaluating what guys do well, what they do poorly, and making sure we're putting them in the best position to succeed.
How much are people sort of stressed with you wanting not just wins, but even more so an entertaining product on the field? I'm just wondering how much of that you get from people.
I think a lot, but I think winning is pretty entertaining too. You know what I mean? I talk to our guys a lot. I've won games 3-0 before. I've won games 51-50 before. They're both wins, and we adjust the issues the next day. I know the fans like to be entertained, and I know this Florida, and we love points here. But guess what? I love points too. So they got somebody. I have that in common with all of our fan base. To me, but the most thing about an entertaining product to me is a team that plays with relentless effort in everything they do. A team, the sidelines, the team, everybody. 11 guys on the field flying around as fast as they can. The guys on the sidelines celebrating and enjoying all the big plays that are made, and us finding a way to win games. I've built programs up before, and when you have that type of an atmosphere, the team that plays with that passion, that energy, and that effort, that ends up being a very exciting product on the field.
How important is this venue and the game that's held here every year to your
Well, it's huge. We're in Florida, and we expect to win in the state of Florida. You know, whether we're in the swamp or whether we're here or whether we're any other location within the state, we expect to win games here. You know, we are the University of Florida, and we expect to win at home.
What's your view on rivalries in terms of do you like to build them up, or you got that every game is kind of the same?
Absolutely, no. I mean, I'm not that naive. You know, I mean, I've been here before. And you know, and the players know the big games, and they know the ones that mean the most within the rivalries that we have here. But you know, one of the things I also know is we're kind of a rivalry for a lot of people here at Florida, because you know, not what the current team's done, or not anything that I've done as a head coach. But what I've done as an assistant coach with teams in the past, you know, what all the great coaches and teams have done, you know, everybody kind of circles the Florida game every single year as a big game for them. But I know, you know, to our fans and to our players, they know the big rivalry games mean a little bit more.
Dan, since you've been here before, do you see the same level of difference in terms of the living rooms that you're able to get into because you're at Florida?
Absolutely. You know, I think, you know, the academic standards at the university, you know, the alumni base, you know, what that degree from the university means, and the tradition and history of the football program. There's a lot of people that are excited to be Gators and want to hear what it's all about.
In conversation you have Philippe, what's your sense of what Philippe wants? Do you think he wants to make a commitment to improve?
Absolutely.
And get better and everything, and can this kid play quarterback for you if everything goes right?
Well, I don't see why not. I mean, I got to see once he gets on the field, but I mean, I loved. He's had a great attitude. You know, of what I look for in a quarterback, which is a guy that's going to compete and set a standard very high for everybody. You know, people look at the quarterback as the leader. You know, I've talked to all the quarterbacks about that. You know, I mean, whether you are, you know, I mean, where your leadership qualities are or not, people are going to look at you as the quarterback as being a leader. So you've got to set that bar really high. And you know, I think I explained that to him even before our first workout, and I watch him, and you know, he tries to be first at everything he's doing, and that's what you need to do as a quarterback.
You said, go ahead, I'm sorry.
Not sure well into it. What's been your impression of the way the guys have responded to this tougher off-season program?
That's one of the things that I've been most pleased with, because you don't know how they're going to respond. And you know, they've really bought into what we've done. There's been very, very little resistance. I know our strength staff's done a really good job of building them up, you know, pushing them to levels they haven't been pushed, but also building them up with confidence while they're doing it. And I think that's important. You know, I mean, you can come in and you see a lot of these with these programs. Guys come in, they go a workout, and guys are injured, and this is happening, that happening. If they're building them, you know, Nick's done a great job of building guys up, of what they can do, what they can handle, but also pushing them to the extremes that you know, they're not able to cruise through any of our workouts. I can tell you that much. And but our guys have really responded to that. And I think they're starting to see the improvements, both physically and the mental toughness that they have to complete the workouts.
Can you tell it's more than they've had to do in the past? Can you see them?
They tell me. I kind of smile, and they tell me they've never been through anything like this before.
What is it about Nick that you saw first at Mississippi State after just 1 year to make him the head guy, and then want to bring him in?
Well, I think, you know what, I see guys that have, you know, they kind of have a factor. And with a guy like Nick, he was an assistant for me. He knew my standard within the program and what it was. And when given an opportunity, he took advantage of it. You know, to be honest, when I hired him, I said, hey, you have, it was right after the season. We had a strength coach leave before our bowl game. And I said, hey, for the next month, you're the head strength coach here. And it's a month-long interview for you. To show me that you are ready to take over this program. And he did an excellent job. You know, but the thing to me that's most impressive about him as a young strength coach coming in, took on that responsibility, but to see his growth from 1 year to the next, to the next, to the next, to become one of the top strength coaches, I think, now in America is pretty special.
You got some kids from Jacksonville on the roster, to Tyler Jordan. Can you just give us some early impressions of those kids and how important it is to recruit this area?
Well, I mean, this is a huge area for us, you know, and it always has been. And you know, I mean, for us to succeed, you know, we need to get the top players from here. You know, I mean, you look, you go back in history. There's a lot of great players that have played for the Gators that have come out of Jacksonville, and so for us, this is critical. I mean, this is our backyard here, and so to me, that's where you got to succeed, because kids, hopefully, there's kids here, kids in Jacksonville grow up dreaming of playing for the Gators. And so for us, that's got to be a huge emphasis in recruiting for those kids to, fulfill their dreams and come play for the University of Florida.
Coach, any comments on recent injuries or illnesses?
I will see that when we get into spring practice, how that affects guys. We got guys that are, there's guys that, banged up from, a day or two, or strep throat to some other things. So, but to me, it's going to be much more of an impact once we get into spring.
How do you rebuild that, Dan, in terms of what Brett was asking about recruiting in Jacksonville? Is it reestablishing relationships that you had before, understanding, you find football players wherever you find them?
Well, it is. I mean, one, we have to have a great relationship with all the high school coaches, with the players in the area, and, and just go out there and work at it and be accessible to them. And, to me, it's a lot to do with everything. We need everybody in the Gator Nation. We need flags flying in front of your house. We need people wearing their Gator gear around, and that's even in the back of kids' minds, all they see is Gator stuff every single day. And you're a young kid. You don't know. I mean, you could have an 8-year-old sitting next to you that's going to be the next Tim Tebow, and he lives in the house next to you. But every day he walks out and all he sees is a Gator flag in front of his house. And he sees neighbors and kids wearing Gator stuff, and he says, hey, you know what? I'm a pretty good athlete. One day I'm going to be a Gator. And at 8 years old, all of a sudden that starts sinking in. And the next thing you know, he's the Heisman Trophy winning quarterback for the Gators.
You don't have anybody 8 committed already, do you?
No, we're not.
Okay.
We're not recruiting them, but I'm telling you, I want every 8-year-old wanting to come play for the Gators. I know that much. Just so.
Did you get a chance to watch the Gator Bowl this year on TV at all, or a replay?
I did.
Yeah.
I watched it. You know what? My phone blew up because I was with my son doing something. I took my son to do something, so we started the game late, and I taped it. And I had my phone off in the other room upside down. I came in with my eyes down to make sure it wasn't showing on TV, and was around at the beginning and hit play. And so I didn't do well for the sponsorships because I fast-forwarded through the commercials, okay, to get caught up. But the game ended before I got to the end, and my phone was going crazy, so I didn't know what happened. But I certainly was really happy about the result.
You got to go, man. He had to come in really under fire against Ole Miss and had a great fourth quarter. And then just a couple of weeks of practice, he comes in there and he outplays the Heisman Trophy winner. And I know a lot of Gator fans were thinking, can Coach Mullen, he can do this with a true freshman in a situation like this and everything. What kind of quarterback is he going to be coaching?
Yeah, well, I mean, those are the expectations. Keaton Thompson did a great job. Fortunately, was able to graduate high school early. Was the #2 quarterback all season last year at Mississippi State, and a great young man, tremendous work ethic. Obviously, everybody saw the talent. And then Greg Knox, I think, did an unbelievable job in preparing for that bowl game. He and the guys that were there on the offensive staff with him, of understanding you were playing a true freshman. And, one of the things I talked to Greg and some of the other coaches during that time of just, hey, I'm not going to tell you what to do because I'm not there. You got the opportunity. You got to go do it. But just make sure you're putting the guys in position, in positions to be successful. And I think they did that. They managed the game really well for him, and they had Keaton ready to play out here. And man, I was happy. I was proud of how that team played, how they responded. And but you know what? I haven't been there in that program for quite a long time. I mean, I knew effort and was not going to be an issue. I knew they stepped foot on that field. There was going to be a team that was going to play as hard as they possibly could every snap, and I think people here saw that.
And you mentioned in your first press conference in Florida, that's what this team you got coming up is going to be like.
Oh, absolutely. You watch us play. I tell our players that every day. Hey, we're gonna every year we're gonna have a different style team. Every year. We might be some years ball control, some years super up tempo, some years we might lead the league in time of possession, some years might be last. I don't know if that dictates wins. We might throw it. We might be more of a running team, more of a throwing team. I'm great. Whatever our guys do well. But one thing we will always do is be a team that plays with unbelievable effort, with relentless effort in everything that we do. You come watch the Gators play, you're going to leave saying, boy, that team plays hard.
You're going to put this team on display, too, right? I mean, first two practices are open.
Practices are open, so, I think, a lot of the Gator Nation, I mean, we're not going to open every practice and just getting certain things done, but I think the people are excited, the Gator Nation's excited, so we want to make sure there's certain opportunities for them to get out and come see some of these new players and see how things are going to be a little different.
We talked to Greg Knox last week. He was pretty optimistic that Malik Davis might be available in the fall. Are you expecting him to be an option?
I think so. I think his surgeries and rehabs have gone well. It's certainly not something we're going to push. But I think he's coming along very nicely, and something that obviously I think he's coming along. This is something we probably wouldn't even consider to even start evaluating until we get into August and see where he's at that point.
What was your impression going back and watching his tape from last year?
I think he's a pretty explosive player. Got speed, got explosiveness, and can make things happen. And I like playmakers. I like, if we're going to put the ball in your hand, number one, you better take care of it. Number two, you'd need to do something special with it. And, that's what he's a guy that can hopefully do both for us.
In terms of the strength program, do you think you have a fast team, a strong team, or?
I think they're getting there. I think they're getting bigger, faster, and stronger on a daily basis right now. And they're learning how to compete in everything that we do. And, we'll see with the gains that they make. We just had one off season, so a lot of it's just getting them to be able to train at the level we want them to train. I'm excited going forward to really see the type of gains we can make in the summer, now that our guys are kind of caught up to what our standards and expectations. Now they're in shape. Now they can actually do the workouts to see now the gains that they make over the summer.
Dan, your excitement for this job kind of oozes. You can sense it
Great.
the day you were hired, right? And
I'm excited.
Do you think people here tonight and people you run into in Gainesville, out and about and all that, kind of feel that? The Gator fans, they feel kind of your excitement to be in Gainesville?
I certainly hope so. You know what I mean? I feel I'm one of the most blessed people in the world to have the opportunity to do what I do. I mean, I love coaching football. I love developing young people to be successful in life. But the opportunity to do that at one of the premier, if not the premier, not just university, but football programs in America, is a dream come true for me. And you know what? I loved being in Florida when I was here before, and I am thrilled to be back here in Florida. Hopefully one of these days I can have an office next to Coach Spurrier. Whenever I finish after a good long career here, I can go get an office right next to him and be here for the rest of my life.
Coach, Todd Grantham, his experience in the SEC at Georgia, Mississippi State, also at Louisville. To tell us a little bit more about him and how valuable that experience with other teams have been.
Well, it's huge because, and he does it. Also with the Browns and the Cowboys in the NFL and this league and being in college and we're going to run an NFL defense, but the experience he has of taking an NFL defense and fitting it to the college game is really important. And you just see, if you just look at his track record, everywhere he's been, the quality of defense that he plays and the situation he puts it in. And the thing to me that is most important is understanding the program and the staff and us working together, because it is. He understands that we're all going to work together. The goal is for us to win. I know statistically his statistics are always off the roof, but the great thing is the professionalism that he brings every single day of fitting in with the staff and the type of guys. I've really enjoyed having him on the staff. I really enjoy him being our defensive coordinator, and really because he understands what it is that we're here to win games and that we're going to do whatever we need to do to help us win football games. And you're going to see I think a much improved defense next season.
Why is it important for you to come out and do these events this week and get out and see these?
Well, it's great. You know what? I'm going to expect on April 14th every one of these people to be showing up in the swamp supporting us. So I want to make sure I'm going to get out here and thank them for all the support they always give us. So it's great for me to get out. They get to come see me. We come visit them. We're always asking people, we need you to come support the team. We need you in Gainesville. We need you to come support us. I want to make sure we come out and we personally thank them for all the support that they give us.